ready as you're gonna be? All right, so at the very top of your paper, I want you to write this: power over root. This is very important. Box it up, circle it, highlight it, star it, whatever you have to do. It is very, very important. In the dotted box beside it, you see how there's a radical sign, right? That's what this little guy is. This is called a radical. Underneath, I have my x. This p is my power. This r is my root. That root is also called the index. I will say that word a lot, so you have to be familiar with what the index is. Okay, so P over R. That's what's important. All right. In this unit, it is very important for you to read your directions. It tells me to rewrite the expression using rational exponent notation. Okay? What that means is I'm going to take it from one form and change it into the other. Okay? When it says rational, that means that my exponent will be in the form of a fraction. Okay? Let's take a look at the first one. What is under my radical? What number is that? Guys, it's under my radical. 5. What's my power? My power is up here. That's my power. So my power is 2. My root is over there, which is 3. That's all we have to do. We're not solving anything. We're not typing into our calculator. When it says rewrite, you just rewrite. That's your answer for this because it just told you to rewrite. All right. I forgot to show you guys something. Okay, everyone look up here. You don't have to write this down. What does this say?
Square root of 4.
Square root of 4, okay? The square root of 4 is 2. There are two things that are understood that we don't have to write. It is understood that my power is 1, right? 4 to the first power, so 4, right? And it's understood that my root is 2. Okay, Isaac knew it was a square root without me having that 2 there. Okay, so that is what we are doing here. It is understood that I have a power of 1, even when nothing is there. Okay, so what number is under my radical? 32. What's my power? 1. And what's my root? 5. Good. The third one's a little difficult, just a little. We have the square root of 2x to the power of 5. It is understood that that is a 2, right? My 2x is in parentheses, so I'm going to keep it that way. What is my power on this 2x? 5. And what is my root? 2. The reason I want you to leave it like that is your official answer would be 2 to the power of 5 over 2, and then x to the power of 5 over 2, because that 5 distributes to everything. It's just easier to leave it as your 1 in parentheses. You don't have to do it like this purple one. All right, on the fourth one, Isaac, what is under my radical? X. What's my power on x? 3. And what's my root? 1. Nope. If there's nothing there, it's understood to be 2. So my root is 2. X to the power of 3 over 2. All good?
Mhm.
All right, let's look at this fifth one. My variable is x. Eric, what's my power?
5,
My power is 5, and what's my root?
3,
Good. And what about y? What's my power?
6,
And my root?
3.
Good. It gets a little tricky on the last one because it looks like I just have x, y to the power of 12. We have to separate these. This is an x, and then I have y. Okay, they're two different variables. So if I have my x first, what is my variable on the x? Sorry, what's my power? Huh?
4,
Nope.
4,
It's understood to be 1, right? And what's my root?
2,
2, because it's understood. It's not written in, but we can just understand it. It's a square root. And so what's my power on y? 12 over 2. Is that making sense? Remember, because you're going to do some classwork on your own, anything that's under the radical, you have to separate it. If it's a number, then 2, like if it's 25, x, y, z, well, that's 3 different things, right? It's the 25, or sorry, 4 different things. The x, y, and the z. Okay? So you have to look to see what's the power on each of them. All right, your next section tells you to rewrite, we're not solving, using radical notation. When it says using radical notation, guess what we need? The radical. All right, you gotta have the radical. So look at the first one. What's my big number? What goes under the radical?
9,
9. What's the power on 9?
1,
And what's the root?
3.
Good. Yeah. P over R, power over root, that's how we know. If you wrote this problem like this, nothing's wrong with that. Same thing. I didn't have to write that 1 if I didn't have to because it's understood. All right. The second problem, what goes under my radical? Negative 243. Keep that parentheses. Jenny, what's my power? 1. What's my root? Huh? 5. So my root goes right in there. If I wanted to write the 1, I could, or I could not. It doesn't matter. Isaac, number 3. What goes under the radical?
X.
X, and what's my power? Power over root. Which one is my power?
3,
What's my root?
4.
That's your answer. The last one, or the fourth one, you should have 12. Your power is 3. Your root is 2. I'm not writing that 2 in because I know it's understood. Any questions so far? All right, this last one, I want you to change this 4 to a 3. We aren't there yet. You'll do this on your classwork by yourself, or I'll show you how to do it. But for now, we're going to change it. So, remember, power over root. I have x. What's my power? 2. What's my root? 3. And then I have y. My power is 1, and my root is 3. So far, so good? When you see the words evaluate, all that is telling you to do is to solve. Okay? Evaluate is telling you to solve. Okay, it's a fancier way of saying it. So you need your calculators for this. Go ahead and turn them on. All right, let's take a look at this. I have the cube root of 125. So for a cube root, I'm going to hit math. I'm going to go down to number 4. It's my cube root. And type in 125. What do you guys get? You should get 5. Did anyone not get 5? Okay. Then my next problem says the 4th root of 144. Everyone pay attention to this, okay? For a root that is bigger than 3, you have to manually plug it in. So that means I need a 4th root, so I'm going to press the number 4. And then I'm going to hit math. I'm going to go down to number 5 because it has this X here. That X means it's going to plug in whatever number I already picked. So it plugged in number 4. And then we get 144. Do we have a perfect number? No. We don't want decimals. So this is what we have to do. Factor lag. It doesn't go away. Alright, what's the smallest number to go into 144? 2. Good. We divide and we should get 72. The smallest number in the 72 is 2. When we divide, what do we get? 36. The smallest number in the 36. Okay, and divide. 18. The smallest number is 2. We divide, we get 9. The smallest number is now 3. Right? Be careful there. And we get 3. When we get to 1, we stop. Alright, so here's what's tricky. When we first started doing the factor ladder, we were looking for pairs, right? I was circling 2 at a time. But now I have a 4th root or a 4th root for my index. That's what I'm basing it off of. So I now need a group of 4, which I have. Okay? That entire group of 4 comes out to be that number. Just like it used to be. Anything that's left over, I need to multiply together. So what's 3 times 3? 9. And before we're done, we have to plug in our index. What's my index here? What's the original? 4. If you put nothing there, it assumes that your index is going to be 2. That's what we don't want that. Any questions here? Alright, try the last one. Let's put it into our calculators. What is it? The 32 to the power of what? 1/5. You put all fractions in parentheses. If you have one of the really new calculators, it may let you do it without parentheses. But in this case, go ahead and do it. It doesn't hurt. You may get different answers eventually. So 32 to the power of 1/5 is 2. When it says evaluate, you just need to plug it in. If you get a decimal, well then you know you have something to do. You have to do your factor ladder. Alright, let's plug these in as well. In your calculator, we have in parentheses negative 125, close parentheses, our exponent, which is our caret key, and in parentheses I'm going to do 2 divided by 3. You should get 25. Okay, what do you guys get for the second one? You should get negative 4. Make sure that you are plugging everything in as you see it. So for the middle one, I would do negative in parentheses 256. Use your caret key, parentheses 1/4, close parentheses. What about the last one? 27. Are there any questions on this so far? No? All right, guys, so what you're going to do now is you're going to do day one classwork. So turn the page. So turn it to the very next, it says day one classwork at the very top. Okay? You're working on that front and back. You will get points based on your completion for your classwork. Okay? Try your best. Remember that is just like what we just did. Okay? On the back of your classwork, there are two number 15s. On that first number 15, I want you to skip it. Don't cross it out. We're going to do it together. Just skip it because it has two different roots, and I'm going to show you how to do that.
So they won't practice?
Yep. They want to practice front and back. So you have 15 minutes. Ready, set, go. All right, so now we have the activities. What did you guys get for number one?
76. I got negative 27. Negative 32.
Negative 32.
Negative 72.
Okay. You should get -6.
It's like plugging the E on this.
And then something's wrong with how you plugged it in. Did you type in parentheses,
Yeah.
-2? Do it again. Okay, what'd you get for number 2?
25003.
What, number 3? You get +9. Any questions on those 3? All
I
right,
understand number 2.
you're just typing in what you see. Put your fractions in parentheses. For number 4, you have to do your factor ladder. So what did you do for this?
But between 2 again.
We get 22. We get 1 and we stop. I need groups of how many? 3, because that's my index. So I have a group of 3 2s. That 2 comes out. What's left over under my radical? 11. What happens to my index? You have to put a 3 in there. What'd you guys get for number 5?
2 and then 10 and the radical.
5, no, 5. I did not get 2.
Okay.
No.
All right, my Paul's number is 2. We divide, we get 80. Divide. Then we stop, right? I need groups of how many? 4. So this whole group comes out to be 2. What's left over under the radical?
5 times 2.
5 times 2, which is 10. And my index is 4.
That's what I got.
Okay, so 2, 4, and then 10. All right, number 6, what did you guys get? Yep, 27. That's straight calculator. You guys getting these right?
Yeah.
If not, do you know what you're doing wrong? All right, it says simplify. As far as you don't know how to simplify, so we're just going to rewrite what we have. What is the power on 27? Nope. My power is 1. What's my root? 3. And then I have x. What's my power? over
3.
number 8. What's my power on 48? No. Here's 3 is the power on x. The power on 48 is 1. It's understood to be 1. And what's my root? What's my power on x? What about y?
Yung pangalan, second is the first power kasi ayan yun.
Wait,
Hindi na.
so the x wouldn't be with the 48, right?
Right, and they're all separate. You have your numbers, you have your variables. Just like in the number 9, my number is 128. What's the power on 128? 1. What's my root? 5. And then I have x. What's my power? 2 over 5. And then y, 25 over 5. We will simplify those next class, but for now, we're just leaving it like that. Number 10, you should have 343 to the power of 1/3, x to the power of 9 over 3, and y to the power of 12 over 3. Number 11, we should have 16 to the power of 1/4, x to the power of 16 over 4, and y to the power of 20 over 4. The last one you guys should all be correcting because I'm pretty sure you did not get this one right. Your 2x needs to be out front. That one is not affected. Eric, please write down the right answers.
I don't know.
You don't have this one right.
Oh, I don't know.
All right, next we have 25. So 25, what's my power? 1 over 2. And what about for x? 6 over 2. All right, let's look at the back. You should have, it says rewrite it to radical notation. So under my radical is 16, my power is 1, my root is 4. You don't have to write that 1 if you don't want to. 14, we have x, my power is 2, my root is 9. 15, I told you guys to skip this one because we have 2 different roots. So that means I have 2 different radicals. In the first radical, I have x to the power of 1, and my root is 3. In my second, I have y to the power of 2, and my root is 4. What did you guys get for 16?
Oh, 3.
What's your power?
3.
And your root?
2.
All right, for number 15, we're going back to rational. Under the radical, I have 2. What's my power? 1 over 3. For this one, it's a little tricky. What's the power on 2? 1, and your root is 3. And then you have x, your power is 2, your root is 3. That's the biggest and most common mistake, is that we don't separate our numbers from our variables. If you don't separate, then your answer is wrong. So be careful. On number 18, I have x, my power is 3, my root is 4. Then I have y, my power is 8, my root is 4. All right, number 20. I have 7, my power is 6, my root is 2. You can put that in parentheses if you want, you don't have to. The last two tells you to write in 2 different ways. You don't know 2 different ways right now, so we're just going to write it the opposite. So we have 32 to the power of 1 over 5, x to the power of 6 over 5, and y to the power of 7 over 5. And then for 22, we have 16 to the power of 1/4, x to the power of 7/4, and y to the power of 6/4. Are there any questions on this classwork? Okay, you guys have about 25 minutes. You can finish your homework. Every other class I've had, I've checked off everyone's homework. Maybe like one kid I didn't. All right, it does not take you long. You can get it done now. Your homework is homework A. The back of the notes that we just did today, we'll do that next class. That's basically day 2.